Alright, this is my video response to um, Caramel, and I'm just going to talk. I'm going to try to make this video brief, but you were talking about Tommy Sotomayor and Tariq Nasheed, and I kind of thought it was, talking about their perspectives. At least that's what I was getting from it, within the black community and the pattern or the foundation or example that they lay or present for black men and their take on black men's role within the community with black women, and just, I guess, how they show up, how black men show up within the black community. What I want to say specifically to that is I have a love for the black community, being a mixed race black male, and I have a sorrow at the same time. The sorrow is because as I look at the outer scope of our community, I don't see many role models for black men, young black men to follow. And it's like what I wind up doing is actually, it's like I have to take the good things that I can, I guess, identify with and aspire towards, from different ones, and it's the smallest, and the things that I find, just to the core objectionable, not receive those things. Like I would say basically, as it pertains to Tariq, I really love his perspectives and the wisdom that he has in terms of, black issues and black history and things like that. I think it's really kind of mind-blowing in a way, the things that he has. What's sad to me is how that he will uplift the black community, and then in the next word he'll call black people the N-word. And maybe that's the way he grew up, and maybe that's what he was called in his family or whatever, but not growing up with that and understanding and having been to college and had college level education and just common sense and self-respect as a man of color, I will never accept the N-word. That's not who I am, and that's not my identification. That's not how I was raised, and that's not how I show up in the world, and that's not what I want to present to the world. That's not how I want the world to see me or to see my people. So it's like I have to reject when that application comes up in his, dialogue. As for Tommy, I mean, there's some truths about things that he says, but you could find negative things about people of any race, and I think what's hurtful about that is much of some of what he says is true. The sorrow for that is that he comes from a black mother. I'm sure his mother's black, and I'm sure her mother was black also. So it's like, for me, really, my role model, if I were to say a role model for the black community, I would have to say Minister Farrakhan. And I say that because he really, to me, he's really adept on the history of black people and people of color, in this country and beyond, and he really tries to lift, people of color up. Again, I have to say it's sorrowful when he uses the N-word, but again, maybe that's the, dispensation in which he was grown up in or raised in, and that's what he was called, and that's what he's used to hearing. But I mean, so it's kind of like a eat the meat, spit out the bones type of thing. But what I will say in the whole scheme of things, and this is going off topic just a little bit, but I've been wanting to talk about this, so I'm grateful you did this video, so I'm just going to put it out. And this is Black History Month, and this is probably maybe the last time I'm going to talk about it. Specifically for me as a mixed male of color, mixed black man of color, it's hurtful and it's sorrowful for me on an individual basis because of my specific upbringing. I was raised without my father, in the house, so it was very confusing for me. I grew up with my mother and female relatives, and so I did not have a male there to pattern, to show, to model for me what it was like to be a man. A man's reactions to things, how a man shows up, how a man thinks, how a man feels. I had none of those examples, so I was going along just doing the best that I could and really not having any examples. And it's like when I didn't model what I didn't have, that was like reprimands from my mom, and some of those were to the point it made me feel embarrassed of myself. The the pain of growing up for me without my father was just devastating. And, a lot of times people, they'll go and have kids and stuff like that, and they, say, well, I can raise my son, but every boy needs his dad, and even girls need their fathers. You know what I mean? And it's like, that is devastating to think that your parent walked out on you and left you for dead, regardless of what happened or what didn't happen, between him and the mother. I mean, no contact, nothing, no love. I never remember as a kid getting a hug or a kiss from my father, being picked up, being held. My mother told me that he did actually hold me when I was first born, but I don't have any memory of that. There was no memory of my father taking me to school or taking me to the football games or anything like that, and different things like, sports I wanted to play, but I had no models. There were only females in my house. And I was extremely shy, so I didn't know how to make friends. And I wanted to play basketball, and all I had no clue how to do it. And being shy and being real smart, mostly stayed in the house, so that made me really awkward, and it's just very hurtful. And to think somebody can walk out on you, your own flesh and blood, and it created for me a real sense of depression, low self-esteem, like how terrible of a person I could be that my own father would just walk out on me and want nothing to do with me. And even now as an adult, as a grown man, that shit hurts. It's sometimes it's really, really devastating, and I'm starting to talk about it and vlog about it, but it's a hole in my heart, the size of my father. And it's like the relationship is broken. I'm grateful for the things that I inherited from him, that I learned, by way of, knowledge after the fact. But, there's nothing like having a healthy, loving relationship with your father that's direct. Whether he's there in the house or whether he's coming by visiting you, you're going to spend time with him. I have no memories of that. I have no memories of my father, and what I grieve about is that really, at this point in my life, I have no male older role models. I have an older relative, of course, that's not my father, that, he's more like a big brother in a way, but I have to glean what I can from him. And it's even more hurtful when I look around within the community and don't see really good examples. And then on the flip side of that, I haven't had the most positive relationships with black females. And then it's like I had an exchange, on a subject, Caramel, on one of your videos with this young lady, and she did a sideways slam on something that was really, a sensitive issue for me, because it's been like either black women that I've encountered really love me or they hated me. You know what I'm saying? And I know they say, well, you're the common denominator, but it's like, how much of that is you when you a loving person and you try to, be genuine and authentic and stuff like that, and then, I'm talking about from a kid, getting that grimy and shit like that for black females. So it's like, I don't hate them. I love them. I respect them. I think black females, black women of color are and can be beautiful, but it's like when the ugliness shows up, it brings up all that negative stuff and that hurt. And so that exchange that I had with that lady on your video a few months ago, you may remember it, it just took all the air out the balloon. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not making any more black videos, because it's like a lot of unfortunately, a lot of our people within the black community, not all, but it's like a lot of us are stuck in negativity. A lot of us are stuck in the negative slave mentalities of the N word, and some people, you try to tell them what, that's not what we are, and they become defensive. They want to cuss you out and tell you, all this negative things about you when you're trying to lift them up. And it's like, what, I don't need that. So it's like, and then this last incident with that lady, it just took all the air out the balloon, you know what I'm saying? So I doubt that I'll make any more videos along that line. So if, anybody's watching my, hearing this video right now, and you've seen some of my videos, because I do different types, but if you've seen videos that are really promoted toward the black American experience and history, I hope you glean from the knowledge that I laid down, because unless I get a change of heart, I'm pretty much done. I think I've said all I can say, and I'm no activist or political student or anything like that. I just share my opinions and views, and that was hurtful, and it's like I've had enough. I'm tired of getting hurt like that, and I want to say to you, Caramel, thank you so much. You've been consistent. You've been beautiful. You've been the same person all these years that I've been communicating with you, and I'm not trying to fix you up and make you a perfect angel or anything like that. You're human. You have flaws like all of us, but I see a lot of love from you, and I see that the Creator has really blessed you with a wise heart and compassion, and I love you for that, and I appreciate you and the things that you try to do for the community. You know what I'm saying? And good people, a lot of times they get shit, and then sometimes you get people that come back and give you flowers. So you represent to me the goodness and the potential of black women and the potential that lies within our community. So I don't know if I addressed everything that I wanted to say, but your video brought up a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to get some of this hurt out, of being a fatherless son, having bad relationships within the black community, and I think that's just it, man. So thanks for checking out what I had to say. This is my response. I'm going on 13 minutes, so much love. I'm out. Tommy Sotomayor and Tariq Nasheed, and I kind of thought it was, talking about their perspectives. At least that's what I was getting from it within the black community and the pattern or the foundation or. All right, this is my video response to Caramel, and I'm just going to talk. I'm going to try to make this video brief, but you were talking about example that they lay or present for black men and their take on black men's role within the community with black women, and just, I guess, how they show up, how black men show up within the black community. What I want to say specifically to that is I have a love for the black community, being a mixed race black male, and I have a sorrow at the same time. The sorrow is because as I look at the outer scope of our community, I don't see many role models for black men, young black men to follow, and it's like what I want to do.